Imagine being deeply in love with someone, but too afraid to ever tell them how you feel. Then one day, you find an object that can grant your ultimate wish, to make that person love you more than anyone else in the world. You make the wish, but you have no idea what terrifying price you will have to pay for it. Welcome back to Cinema Critique. Today we are diving into the shocking story of the 2025 horror thriller film, Obsession. Let's jump right into this psychological nightmare.
I love you! I love you!
The story begins with Bear, a quiet, ordinary guy who works at a music store. For years, Bear has been secretly in love with his co-worker and friend Nikki, but his fear of rejection keeps him from speaking up. His helplessness is well known to his close friends, Ian and Sarah. One evening, while looking for a gift for Nikki, Bear wanders into a strange crystal shop. There, he finds a bizarre novelty toy called the One Wish Willow, which claims to grant a single wish when broken. Back home, out of pure frustration and desperation, Bear breaks the toy and wishes, "I wish Nikki loved me more than anything else in the world." That very night, reality shifts completely. The next morning, Nikki's behavior toward Bear changes drastically. The girl who once saw him only as a friend suddenly becomes deeply affectionate and showers him with love. At first, Bear is thrilled, believing his dream has finally come true. But very quickly, that joy turns into an unsettling dread. Nikki's affection isn't normal. She becomes intensely clingy and starts acting incredibly strange. She gets a haunting, 1,000-yard stare in her eyes that unnerves Bear to his core. She begins saying bizarre things in public and refuses to leave Bear alone for even a single second. The horror intensifies as Nikki's behavior grows more disturbing. One day, when Bear needs to leave for an isolated shift at the music store, Nikki desperately tries to prevent him from going. To keep him trapped, she covers the entire front door in duct tape and stands there, smiling blankly. When Bear returns later, he finds Nikki still standing in the exact same spot, physically deteriorating, while the house around her falls into disarray. Bear finally realizes this isn't a normal attraction. It is a supernatural curse. The most horrifying realization is that the real Nikki is still trapped inside her own body, forced to act out Bear's ultimate fantasy against her own free will. During a party with friends while playing a drinking game, Nikki suddenly starts telling a deeply violent and unsettling story. Mid-sentence, she shatters a bottle and begins violently harming her own face. Bear rushes her to the hospital, but her actions only grow more unhinged and violent from there. Later, Ian calls Bear with a chilling revelation. Right before the wish took effect, Nikki had told him that she only viewed Bear like a little brother. Her true feelings were never anything close to love. Bear is now completely trapped in a web of fear and lies, and Nikki's unpredictable madness becomes a lethal threat to everyone around them. The danger peaks when their friend Sarah pulls Bear aside to talk, subtly hinting at her own attraction to him. Suddenly, Nikki smashes through the car window and violently attacks Sarah. In a brutal and shocking sequence, Nikki repeatedly slams Sarah's head against the steering wheel until she is dead. This marks the goriest and most horrifying turning point in the film. Completely unfazed, Nikki calmly tells a traumatized Bear to go home while she disposes of the body. Bear is left completely broken, realizing his selfish desire has birthed a literal monster. In a deeply emotional and agonizing scene, Nikki briefly breaks free from the curse's grip and regains consciousness. Crying hysterically from within her own mind, she begs Bear, "Kill me, please. I just want to be free from this prison." If Bear truly loved her unselfishly, he would end her suffering. Instead, his cowardice takes over. He is too paralyzed by fear and his own twisted fantasy to pull the trigger. Overwhelmed by guilt and desperate to escape the nightmare, Bear tries to take his own life in the climax. But even there, his fear wins out, and he panics, saving himself at the last second. The film delivers a final twist that leaves the audience completely stunned. Nikki ultimately gains possession of the final remaining wish. In a powerful act of poetic justice, she uses that wish against Bear, the exact same prison and complete loss of bodily autonomy that Nikki endured is turned right back onto him. When Nikki finally wakes up entirely as herself, she is left surrounded by the tragic deaths of her friends and the horrific memories she was forced to witness firsthand. The ending serves as a grim reminder of how viewing another person as property can turn an entire life into a living hell. Obsession 2025 is far more than just a typical horror movie. It is a chilling reflection of human entitlement and toxic desire. The performances by Michael Johnston and Inda Navarrete, especially Nikki's deeply unsettling expressions, make this film a modern psychological masterpiece. Rating 9 out of 10. If you enjoyed this scene-by-scene explanation, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Cinema Critique, and leave a comment below. Would you ever dare to use a wish like that? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next breakdown.